There we go.
Hey,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Oh, it's lovely to see you.
Yeah, welcome to your first joint live as well.
Oh, thank you. This is very exciting.
Yeah, it is. And I can't wait for everyone to get to meet you. It's nice to actually talk and not just, text or voice note.
Oh, definitely. There's nothing that beats human interaction, really, is there?
No, cool. So introduce yourself, tell us your story, share some fun facts about you for everyone who's watching.
I like to introduce myself as a human being, first and foremost, because I feel that sets the tone and everyone then can relate. Because I often find that whenever I was in a very bad place, whenever I watch others talk about their stories, you like think to yourself, oh my goodness, like they've achieved everything, they're perfect. So you kind of zone out because you're like, oh right, well, I'm hopeless myself. We're all humans here. We're all just trying to get through this life together. And aside from that, yeah, my name's Amy. I'm a psychology graduate. I do a lot of things. I'm a general life enthusiast, so I do modeling, content creation, writing, singing, dancing, just living my best life. I'm actually currently in the middle of writing a book, so I guess that's my main focus.
That's exciting.
Oh, it's very exciting. Well, I'm excited about it anyway.
Is it about you? Is it fiction, non-fiction?
No, I do have 10 books in the making, but I'm focusing on one because otherwise you're baiting about from like a blue arse fly from one to the other. And so I'm focusing right now on a recipe book, and it's going to be an interactive one where we're all going to do it in 2021 together. So this is, do you know the way you buy a recipe book
Yes.
and you don't actually do anything with it? It's just like, oh, it just sits there. Well, I'm actually going to be holding people accountable. We're all going to do it together. So it'll be like a nice big community and fun.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. And it's super relevant because obviously we're going to be talking about food and relationships. That is perfect, perfect, perfect.
We'll roll with it. You look beautiful.
Oh,
Just thought I'd throw that in there. Sunshine is filling me with all the vitamin D and happiness one could ever need.
definitely. It makes a change, doesn't it? The weather we've had lately.
110, it really does. Like whenever you see the sun shining and the blue in the sky rather than the 50 shades of grey, you just sort of have a bit more of a like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, definitely. What was, has been, and is currently your relationship with food like?
Relationship with food. Growing up, I've always been a big eater. And my family are like, well, my dad in particular is a feeder. So I have just always eaten like a lot of food. It's just how I've grown up. So I think that's what my body needs. So whenever my friends and stuff would have came round to the house to get dinner, they were always just astounded and like, this is far too much food. Like we can't eat all this. And I would have just been sitting there munching away quite happily. So I have just always been a person that seems to need more food than the average person, for example. And that's just something that I've had to come to terms with because if I eat what everyone else is eating, then I will genuinely lose weight very dramatically. And so a lot of people, like I have experienced a lot of skinny shaming all through my life because I've just always been a slim, slim, skinny, whatever on earth you want to call it, human being. Like that is just my body, in part genetics, but I mean, it's just the way I am, and it's what I've had to come to terms with. A lot of people would be like, oh my goodness, you're so lucky, you can eat whatever you want and not put weight on. But at the same time, like I have had, notes stuck up on my own door, calling me very, very rude names and just so much hate being projected onto you just because of the body shape you're living in, which, isn't just very nice. And I just don't really understand it. I mean, how does it actually affect anyone else what your body actually looks like? So that's why I'm just very passionate about sharing that, we should all just accept each other and all bodies are good bodies and it really just doesn't matter what the hell you look like because your appearance is the least interesting thing about us as human beings.
Yeah, point you made there, it's like, what does the way that you're shaped, how does that affect someone else? How is that offensive, or like in some way doing something for someone else? It's your body. That is a really, really great point. And when you put it as plainly as that, it just like, why do people do ridiculous things like that?
I think also it is in part to do with that you hate yourself so much yourself that it's a projection of your own feelings about you onto others. And so if I saw something that said, like, get to know your worst enemy, it's you. And that hit me. I was like, wow. So what you're saying as wrong about others is how you really feel that's wrong with you. And so I thought that was just very, like, do you know, just you see some quotes and you're like, that's a good one.
They hit deep. Yeah, there isn't like one structure, one guideline out there that fits all. There is main points of fuel your body right, nutrition that your body needs, those vitamins and things. There is, treat yourself with, don't go OTT, don't not ever treat yourself. Little things that apply to everyone. But when it actually comes to portion size, what is right and wrong for that person and how your body reacts to those foods, that's where every single person in the world is slightly different. And that's the bit that gets so lost on social media, because you try so hard to do what someone else is doing. If it's for you. Yeah.
No, honestly, I couldn't agree more with every word you've just said. It's because really from birth we are broadcast with, skinnier is better and just this diet and that diet all through magazines. And even if you're not buying magazines now, Instagram is an online magazine, so I guess it is really important to be mindful of the content you are consuming on here, because it is feeding into your sense of self-worth implicitly and subconsciously, whether you're actively seeking that out or not.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, I think the biggest things for me that I can't decide if it's a good or a bad thing is when these people do about what I eat in a day. Right?
Yeah, I think this is actually a real topical issue to discuss.
Part of me is like, amazing, share recipes and that you enjoy with people. What I eat in a day, really controversial, because you're probably most likely to share your make someone else feel bad on their worst day.
I do think that they are probably more detrimental than good.
Mm-hmm.
By all means, exactly what you said. Share recipes, that's absolutely fantastic. But there is nobody in this world that needs to know everything you eat in a day. And I do think it really sets people up for comparison. They're looking at and whether you're comparing or not, you will watch that and think either they're eating way less than me, or, oh my goodness, they're eating way more than me. And you do compare, because it is just a natural, we are built to just do that as our natural way of existing. So, I think, do you know what? I think a lot of people do them because they're popular and they know they're going to get all the views from them. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think as well. I think if you possibly explain what it is you're eating and why. So obviously, a lot of people who put it up there are quite often fitness enthusiasts. So if they up a post and they've got a lot of food in there, a lot of high protein and carbs, if they explain, I'm bulking, I'm making sure I'm fueling, doing this much exercise a day, so I need that kind of thing, it gives context, so those people who aren't that much can understand, okay, well, that's not the life I'm not going to eat like that. That would make them slightly better, a slight improvement.
Now, there are ones definitely that I have seen, and they do put disclaimers on. They say, by the way, what I eat changes every single day. This is just, to give you a bit of inspiration on different snacks and meals and things to eat in a day, which I do think, that's putting it across, and you're making it very clear that, this is the way I eat, you please eat the way you eat, because what I eat isn't going to work for you. And so it's actually, spelled out very clearly in black and white, which is, that's better. And to be fair, like, people just enjoy watching what other people eat in a day. I mean, you watch it on TV, you watch it it's everywhere.
I think one of my favorite things is when I swipe across onto the last picture, they put up like a chocolate bar, and I'm like, yes. I'm like, hey, that's good. I ate that too.
You can relate to that,
yeah.
then. Yeah. I think definitely there are pros and cons, but I guess it just depends on the person consuming it as well, like whether they're in a good place themselves with their relationship with food and their body to be in a stable state, to be taking that in and being fine with someone else eating more or less than you and not have it affect you in any way.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think one that the UK is quite rubbish at is teaching from a young age about, good relationship with. I think we should, rather than emphasizing size and stuff like that, really kids should be more educated.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what protein is for, why do we eat protein, carbs, what does this vitamin do, rather than shown like that little pie chart, which I think is just
don't even, that there pie chart is genuinely, I mean, I wasn't taught, before I did A-level biology, I wasn't taught about carbs and vitamins and protein and minerals. I didn't learn about it in HE. The only thing I remember about HE is making cheese on toast, and it was called Fancy Welsh Rarebit. I mean,
literally, I am the exact same, and so I did A-level biology too, and it's nutrition as well. Like, honestly, there was nothing there for me. I was like, oh wow. And I kind of, from being involved in fitness as well, I picked up things like, obviously, after your workout, eat.
Yeah. Doing your own research, like being active. Yeah.
But other people would be like, but why do I need to do that? Why do I?
Yeah. So I think having the actual knowledge really helps you make like better decisions for your health. And do you know, like, this is just something I found out from listening to podcasts and chatting to doctors, that in the whole 5 years of medicine, the amount of nutrition training they get is no more than 30 minutes long. In 5 years.
What?
So that, and honestly, see, whenever I heard that it's all just mainly focused around the drugs and, conditions and treating the conditions with drugs. That is the main actual course of medicine. That's why I feel like psychology and, counselling and these things have a real gap to bridge there on actually healing people's relationships with themselves and, rather than just focusing on giving somebody a tablet. Lifestyle factors really need to be taken into consideration, like your basic things like sleep, nutrition, movement, stress. It's very basic things that people are often looking for something more, whereas if you just actually strip it back to the basics, like, that's where you're finding peace, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's like, I'm not dissing supplements at all, because I think they're great, and I know that there's a lot of use, especially with vitamin D, because obviously of us people who live in the UK are vitamin D deficient, so it's really
I take vitamin D necessary.
So we have to take it. So supplements are great for that, but I think thinking that you can just get vitamins from supplements is just the wrong approach. Like, you need to try and your body with the nutrition from food first, and you can go to supplements for extras or the things you're struggling to keep, things like that. Like that, I think it's just got, like you said, it's basic. Primary things have to be laid out first before you can look for the other things.
Yeah, I think things are just made too complex, like you hear, I think intermittent fasting was a big thing there in 2020, you know, everyone was jumping on this time restricted eating, and you know, there just seems to be a new trend every year, like the celery juice cleanse. I don't know whether you heard about that.
You don't even, the word cleanse just makes me
Yeah, it actually makes you like shrivel and be like, no. But like like honestly, I find entertainment, and now I find entertainment, and then I actually feel a lot of pity and reach out to people, because it just does break my heart that I did my thesis on so it was called Instagram with #NoFilter. And it was the effect of Instagram use on body dissatisfaction and disordered eating in young female adults. Very, very interesting. And I genuinely remember looking through my results and crying. Like, I was looking at the results that I'd gathered from people filling in the surveys, and I was crying because it was about 95% of women said that they were dissatisfied with their body. And I mean, how awful is that?
Yeah, that is sad. There's no words. It's just really sad that so many people, men and women, feel so unsatisfied with how they look, and it leads to either fad diets or skipping meals, feeling guilty for eating like chocolate and stuff like that.
It is. It's really, really sad, and I feel actually, as well, is an issue that as a person who isn't on a diet, and I just generally eat what I want, I don't care what time it is, I just eat all foods, I don't have any rules whatsoever around food. As someone like that, I have actually felt quite out of place, and what's the word I'm looking for? Like secluded, and sort of, you know, that I don't fit in, because everyone around me is talking about what diet they're on or how much weight they're losing and their body goals and all this kind of thing. And I feel like left out in a way that, you know, well, I can't actually join in on this conversation. I'm just sitting here as someone who's not counting calories and not counting steps and not counting all these things, because I actually, you know, have better things to do, and it's just not really what I would be finding an enjoyable way to spend my life.
And that is the biggest thing, I think, for me. I think the difference between calories and what the calories contain. So calorie counting is so bad because it doesn't take into consideration what the calories are made up of. So you are counting, and you are calorie counting a chocolate bar compared to a bowl of fruit and yogurt or something. Like, obviously there's the comparison's going to be actually delve deeper. So I think I never ever encourage calorie counting for my clients. I always try and encourage just like thinking about what is on their plate or why they're eating it. That is my number one thing. So like, looking at a plate of food, you gotta be able to sort of list what this is bringing you. Even if you've got a treat there, you're having a bit of chocolate and that's your, what is this bringing me? Okay, this is bringing me satisfaction for the day, and that's good. That's fine.
That gives me a soul hug.
Yeah. So, but then a plate of food, like, what is this? Oh, this is my protein, my carbs, and these rules here. If you're looking at a plate of food and you're like, I don't really know what this is doing for, it doesn't even taste good, then
it's thrown together because you haven't got a clue what you're eating or how to prepare food. I always like to say, count colours, not calories.
Yes, I love that.
Not a nice one. And smiles over stones, and wellness over weight.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Mental well-being is more important than the number on your scales.
Yes, those scales, I actually think majority of people would do best to actually take an axe and beat up the scales and just be free from that there, because see that there number, your gravitational force on this earth, who actually cares? Yeah. Who cares?
No, and it's great. Anyone out there who has goals to lose or build muscle or put on weight, whatever is amazing. Keep doing it, but do it in a way that is healthy and does not like take away any of your happiness in life at all.
Yeah, that's a really important point, and I do feel, I mean, I'm not promoting obesity, just eat whatever you want, and I mean that's absolutely not the route I'm going down. I'm basically saying, like, if you throw away all the rules around food, and you know, if you're unhappy basically with the way you're eating or how you're feeling, I think that's really, you know, signal to yourself to make a change. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you are just miserable, like, you always have that choice to make a change and do something about it. So whether you hire a dietitian or a nutritionist or somebody to just help you, or do your own research online. I mean, well, as long as you're going to the right sources, obviously. But yeah, I mean, there definitely are ways to, like, actually change if you're very, very unhappy with yourself and your body. But I think people and food are so busy, like, just living their lives and doing that, they don't actually prioritize the time for themselves. And what's more important than yourself?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. You are number one, and that is not a selfish, that's just a fact.
No, if you abandon yourself, then you're actually abandoning all your friends and family and just everything, because you need to love yourself first and foremost. And then whenever you love yourself so, you know, unconditionally, that you naturally just spread and gravitate that to everyone around you. So it benefits yourself, it benefits your family, your friends, and just your life in general.
Exactly. So our top tips, like as a summary, I would say my top tip out of everything else first is educate yourself and your children, friends or family, whoever it is, in what you eat and why you eat it before you do anything. That's my top tip. Always know what you're eating and why you're eating.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I think another point I will end on then is something that we haven't really, well, we did sort of cover it at the start, is to cut comparing. Comparison is the thief of joy. Find out what works for you and be very confident in that, and be open to exploring other things and, like, actually satisfying your cravings, I think, is really important. And, you know, not denying yourself from what you're actually feeling, and just actually take a moment to tune in. Don't just rush about. Actually think, right, what do I want? What's my body looking for? And personally, me, in the winter, I'm wanting more hearty things than in the summer, where you're more like, and sort of just be free with that.
Yeah, just how your body feels and listen to it. Don't deprive yourself of chocolate because that it's not eat chocolate daily. Like, that's when you lead to the more complicated things, whole other topics on to. But yeah, I think listening to your body was one of the biggest things. Just before we go, that I learned on my course is you're actually meant to eat before you feel hungry. So this me, because I was like, obviously, I eat once I start feeling hungry, but you're not actually meant to get to that feeling.
Yes, I remember seeing that as well, because it takes your body like 15 minutes, I think they say, to actually feel the whatever it is, whether it's fullness or, so you really should be eating whenever you get like maybe some other symptom, like feeling a wee bit weak or like a light head, and that's whenever, yeah, that's a really good point actually.
Yeah, so you shouldn't be starvation or hunger that comes with your diet so bad, because you're not even supposed to get to that point where you feel like that. You're meant to just fuel all the time so you don't feel hungry. Like, I'm not saying you have to feel like really, really stuffed all the time.
No.
But you're just meant to like fuel even with a snack or something yourself before you get to that point.
Yeah, and don't be of the mindset that you can't snack or, you know, oh my goodness, my meals can only be that. Because I know so many people fall into that trap, like, oh, you know, I can't go over this number. Well, not even mention the number that's broadcast. But I mean, I think that actually, that number, by the way, is less than, you know, what a toddler needs. We need, at least as women, 2,000 calories a day. So it doesn't actually matter. This is necessary for full well-being and functioning. That's the bare minimum. 1,200 is not going to cut it.
No, no way, no way. If I ate 1,200 a day, like I wouldn't even be able to get out of bed because I'd be so tired.
No, honestly, it's broadcast everywhere, this 1,200. It's stupid. It's genuinely stupid. And although I'm not recommending to count calories at all, you need to make sure you're eating enough to fuel your mind and your body, and see even if you don't move your body at all in a single day, which I frequently do because it's rubbish weather, you still actually have to eat because your mind needs fuel, and whether you're just lying like an absolute sloth, you still need energy.
Yeah, agreed. I think that is the perfect point to finish on, is just like fuel, fuel, fuel. Food is fuel. It is your friend. It is not your enemy. You're not.
Yes.
Don't fear food.
Brilliant. Love it.
Yes. And we also have some exciting other things to look forward to, starting both. I have a feeling that we have so much more to talk about, so I'm sure we'll be on a live again very soon.
So I think that, because I know you are experienced in doing that with clients, so it'll be a good way to just do something fun together, and as I always say, move for your mind.
Yes. Yeah.
It does contribute to overall health, and if you move your body in a way that you enjoy, I think that's the key.
Yeah. Yeah, and nothing is maintainable if you don't enjoy it.
Hell yeah.
Whether we're talking about a form of exercise or we're talking about food, if you don't enjoy it, it's never going to.
Yes.
It was so lovely talking to you, and I look forward to more chat that we have.
You too. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming on and meeting me, and we'll speak very soon.
Yes, speak soon, dear.